number one, does not turn the ball over? And secondly, which one is not put in the position to have to go put on that superhero cape? Because both of them can do it. But the one that doesn't have to, the one that is because of a defensive turnover that is forced, maybe a sack fumble, because of the run game being an efforting force that is working throughout the game, whichever one of these quarterbacks doesn't have to reach for the cape first, I believe is the one that's going to come out on top in this one. And if it's Josh Allen that has to reach for the cape first, it's a little more risky than a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who has shown us not one, not two, not three, but 7 straight years that this stage is not too big for him, and he's not going to make the kind of mistakes to get them out of a game.
So that tells me that 2-possession lead, second half, there's no chance of coming back. Because you have to put the Superman cape on in that situation.
I would say, number one, you have to have an offensive coordinator that doesn't panic too much, right? If you're dealing with Todd Monken and the Ravens, I would be a little bit more shifty about it. I don't think a 2-possession game is out of hand in the second half. I think 2 possessions with 9 or 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter is more so when you begin to have to lean more on that. Plus, honestly, it's going to happen naturally throughout the game, right? 3rd and long, right? 3rd and pass, you're going to see Mahomes and Allen play to the levels that we love to watch them play, especially back when Mahomes was in his MVP days and really Josh Allen before Joe Brady took over. So we're going to see some of those flashes of it. It's like, but when you need a full drive of it, I think that's when things are going to get interesting, right before the end of the second half, or if the lead starts to get out of hand. Both of these teams are so well built, though. The defenses, these teams know each other so much, the familiarity, that I don't, again, it better be a tight one. Damn it, we deserve it.
Yeah, we certainly do. And like you said, it's not just what you see on the scoreboard, but also the situational football, where if maybe you get to the red zone, maybe get goal-to-go situation, and it's 3rd and goal from this 5-yard line, pocket collapses, but you don't have a chance to scramble, and you throw across your body, turn the ball over there where you give away 3 points you would have had if you didn't try to force the ball in a window in an effort to get 6.
Yeah.
There. Situations like that, which we've seen in the past with Josh Allen and sometimes with Patrick Mahomes.
With Mahomes usually in the regular season. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And honestly, Josh Allen has been way more careful in postseasons as well, especially as of late. Look at the again, I don't even say this in criticism. It's more of a tip of the cap to a guy like Josh Allen. When you have all of those tools and you know I can probably shake this dude off me, stiff arm this guy, sling it 60 yards, and give my guy a chance down the field, but because you realize the risk reward of that, you don't do it, that's a credit to you.
I do think there's another component to that with Josh Allen and how he treats his own body on the football field.
Yeah.
He hasn't been burned yet. We've seen a couple of moments in football games this year with Josh Allen where he took a lick.
Yeah.
And he took a little bit of a pause before getting up. Or maybe he hurt his hand. He broke a nail.
Right.
We're seeing opportunities where maybe other quarterbacks would have been injured, where we're not seeing it with Josh Allen yet. And it doesn't happen until it happens. And you don't want it to happen in the second quarter of the AFC Championship game.
It's a good point. I've been saying this since the beginning of this year, and I thought if any year would happen, it would be this year because he's, by virtue of the fact that they got rid of Diggs, they put more of the weight on his shoulders. I thought he was going to have to play more hero ball. Now, credit to him, credit to Joe Brady, credit to that offensive line and the evolution of James Cook. He hasn't had to because he's been able to lean so heavily on quick pass game, lean so heavily on the rushing game as well. And those 3rd and short plays, the difference between why I think a guy like him is a little more protected than, let's say, the guy that we can easily compare him to, and that's Cam Newton, who I grew up rooting for with the Panthers. Cam had so many other runs where he would literally, Josh Allen's a crash dummy. Cam would literally go seek out the contact as well, to an extent that is a little bit beyond what Josh does. And also, it's not the hits where you're delivering some of the pain. It's the hits where you're getting, speared or you're getting hit in a vicious way. And these days, it's harder to get a quarterback like that because you're afraid of a penalty.
It's also the weird
flop.
Yeah, and remember go back 2 years ago where Tua was taking jiu-jitsu classes on how to fall?
Yeah.
Even hits like that, where you're not actually being hit hard, but the whiplash in the manner of which your head hits the ground. That's stuff that's not really controllable by Josh Allen. He can't control how durable his skull and brain is. Maybe he can be tougher than the guy who's about to hit, but hitting the ground, the earth is undefeated.
It's going to get you every time. Mm-hmm. This is the same story with Kawhi Leonard, with Derrick Rose. It wasn't the fact that they were so explosive. It was the fact that they didn't know how to land. Yeah. That court It's hardwood. It's not softwood. It's not a trampoline. It's hardwood. The more you land on your feet, the more, torque you're putting on your knees, and that stuff wears over time. 82-game season, back-to-backs, all of that stuff wears on you. You're right. Josh Allen looks invincible. He's not invincible. These defensive linemen and D tackles and linebackers, some of them are bigger than him. So hopefully he stays healthy, right? And I believe he'll get through this playoff run and many other years, but it does feel a little less sustainable than some of the other quarterbacks that we watch at the high levels these days. But Bills-Chiefs on Sunday. Bills-Chiefs, the AFC title game right around the corner, the Mahomes Invitational. I start with this, C-Cat. I do believe, and this is not just my Chiefs fandom speaking, I do believe the Chiefs get out of this thing with a win and enter into the Super Bowl in New Orleans, facing either the Commanders or the Eagles. Likely Philly. In fact, yesterday I told y'all, I cannot pick the Commanders in this one. Philly has them outmanned at every position. I will never put it past the Nick Sirianni team to find a way to lose. I will never do that. But the more I thought about it, once the Chiefs get through the Bills and get to the Super Bowl, losing to Josh Allen, even at home for Patrick Mahomes, is an excusable, mark on the resume, right? Yeah, Josh Allen was having an MVP season. This is a team that has a lot of continuity. They beat you in the regular season. It's a team that you've seen multiple times in the playoffs. Everybody's already agreed Patrick Mahomes eventually is going to take an L to Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. At some point, it's going to happen. Yeah,
and you go back to the 13-second game. Josh Allen did everything he could to beat Mahomes in that game.
Yeah, he played extremely well, as close to perfect as possible, but Mahomes was perfecter. And then you look at what would be next. The Chiefs getting through this game against the Bills and having a three-peat on the line. They have the history. We've never seen it. We've never even seen a team with a chance at a three-peat reach the Super Bowl, let alone win one. The Chiefs would have a Super Bowl Sunday against either Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts. And I'll say this. It would be more damning to Patrick Mahomes' legacy to lose that game, to make it to the Super Bowl, get out of this, what we all consider the best two teams left, get out of this fight unscathed, make the Super Bowl, and lose to the Eagles or Commanders than if they just lost at home on Sunday to the Bills in general. It sounds crazy to utter those words. Failure earlier is almost more successful for his legacy. But I guarantee you we'll forget about this AFC title game if Mahomes and the Chiefs fall in this one, especially if it's like a turnover at the end. It's an overtime game like we've said before. Maybe it's a thing where Josh Allen just 13 seconds, but Mahomes isn't able to fight back. If the Chiefs lose this one, there's all kinds of excuses out there for how Mahomes finally got by Josh Allen. There will be none to explain why the Chiefs are not able to complete the three-peat in the Super Bowl against either the Eagles or the Commanders. For the Bills or the Chiefs, it is inexcusable, whoever escapes this game, to go to the Super Bowl and lose to the teams on the other side, because the NFC is clearly inferior along with their two quarterbacks right now.
You're absolutely right. The story of the AFC Championship game come 10 p.m. Sunday night and 6 a.m. on Sportsmanlike on Monday morning of the following day is the victor. It is who won the AFC. It's, wow, Josh Allen finally broke through. Wow, the Chiefs did it again.
Yeah.
Another domino has fallen, and they're one win away from a three-peat. It's not who loses this epic clash, the final game of Championship Sunday. Not at all. But come Super Bowl time, it's either you let down or you won.
Right. The closest thing I can see to it being excusable is if the Bills face the Eagles and Jalen Hurts and the Eagles win. But the caveat here is this is a Bills franchise and a Bills mafia and a fandom that has seen that story 1, 2, 3, 4 too many times. And if Josh Allen, after all of this, after everybody